Huh? Okay. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Franklin Planning Board, July 28th, 2025 meeting. This meeting is audio and video recorded. It's also on Zoom, and the Zoom call-in number is 312-626-6799 with a meeting number of 847-27180-997. We're going to take the first item of business. We'll do some general business first. The first one, this would be is for the CPC for the appointee. If I could go to Amy for.
Sure, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So this is for the Community Preservation Committee. We have one member of the planning board that gets appointed every year. Currently, Jay Mello is our person, and if the board agrees and Jay would like to continue the position, just we need a vote.
Yeah, good. Make a motion to appoint Jay to the CPC committee. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Jay.
Thank you, guys.
All right, second item of business, this would be for an endorsement for 157 Cottage Street. If I could go to Amy at Department of Planning, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, this was approved several months ago. This 157 Cottage Street is also known as the Franklin Children's Museum. They're starting work on there. We had a pre-construction meeting and just need the plans to be endorsed. The certificate of vote is on the front page.
Okay. Everybody all set? Make a motion to endorse 157 Cottage Street. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next item of business, this would be also an endorsement. This is for 151 Grove Street. If I could go to Amy, Department of Planning, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is also for, this was a special permit for the storage unit over at 151 Grove Street. The appeal period has ended. It's been recorded. The decision's been recorded at the Registry of Deeds. They do have the decision on the front page as well for the plans to be endorsed.
Okay. Anybody have any comments, questions? Make a motion to endorse 151 Grove Street. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, our next item would be meeting minutes. This will be meeting minutes from June 2nd and June 30th. Do we have any additions or deletions? If not, make a motion to approve June 2nd and June 30th of 2025 meeting minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, next item of business, this would be a continuation of Panther Way Senior Village. If you want to approach the seat up front. If you could just introduce yourselves for the record first, please.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman of the board. Brad Chaffee, applicant, Camford Property Group. Here with Brooke Gaudreau from United Consultants.
Just so everybody knows, Mike Maglio, our town engineer, is on vacation, but Gary is on vacation, but he's on Zoom tonight for us to help through, so. If I could go to Amy first, Department of Planning.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think last time they were in front of us, it was more of the concept plan to discuss some changes to reduce some units, review any suggestions from the planning board. That was on June 2nd. I think a few of the items that came up at that meeting was to provide the pedestrian trail throughout the property, also to work with DPW on a sidewalk extension along Panther Way. And I just want to note that they have submitted 11 waivers.
If I could just go to the applicants before I go to the board and the audience. Could you just give a brief update where you stand with the questions and comments that we had?
Sure, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So we have had an opportunity to prepare a revised submission to Beta, and we've received some additional comments from them. As we had discussed at the previous hearing, one of those comments was with regard to the sidewalk along Panther Way. Mr. Chaffee and myself had a meeting with Mike Maglio and the DPW Director, Mr. Cantareggi. And I have a sketch here that basically just isolates the area of the proposed sidewalk we came up with on sheet 7, if I may just pass that out.
And Mike did provide us a letter on that as well, Rick. Thank you. I have an extra one here, Rick, if you want it.
All right, thanks. We have a few here. So this is basically just a blow-up of the area from the site driveway to Highwood, all of which are shown on sheet 7, but it's just easier to follow on the little sketch. Excuse me. So what we have is the proposed sidewalk that we discussed with the DPW from our roadway edge heading up towards Highwood, coming out to the roadway, eliminating the grass strip, and then running parallel with the existing asphalt. Just to the left of the sidewalk, you can see the dashed line, which is the right-of-way line. So a portion of the sidewalk up behind the existing fire hydrant near the Highwood driveway is forcing us to narrow the sidewalk to go around it and leave the right-of-way and go on to the Highwood property. And then you can see the grading that's necessary to construct that due to the slope that's there. And then what was requested was an extension of the sidewalk from where it currently ends on the planned north side of the entrance to Highwood to come down and then create a walkway across that entrance throat, if you will. And what we've also proposed is a crosswalk across our driveway and then across the street. That would be signalized as per the DPW's recommendations. And then, obviously, the applicant would need to work with the Highwood people to get an easement to construct that portion of the sidewalk. So we've, provided notes to that effect. So that's one of the big items we wanted to discuss, because the board, at the previous meeting, had indicated that the direction may be to go down towards CVS. This is what the DPW wanted, so we certainly wanted to have that discussion with the board, because it was different than what we left here discussing. And then there are what I call two kind of categories left to address: some stormwater and some updates to the plan that we can certainly go through if the board prefers, but we have our direction, we know what we need to do. We have had an opportunity to talk to Gary, so we've got a pretty good idea on that. We did get a letter from Mike Maglio late last week, and also from Beta for the conservation review. The Conservation Commission's agent is out on leave, so they had Beta do an administrative review, and they gave us a few comments Thursday afternoon prior to their meeting. So we're in the process of addressing those. But then the second category is, and we can certainly go through them, but I'm assuming the board has had an opportunity to read Beta's letter. Certain things are deferred back to the board. For instance, there's a requirement to locate every tree over 15 inches, which would be possible but quite extensive. So we were hoping, to get a waiver on that, and that's been deferred to the board as to what the stance is. We could certainly go through those if you'd like, but again, I was hoping the board had gone through those comments and could give us some direction if there's any specific items they wanted to discuss, you guys wanted to discuss, we could do that.
Okay.
All right?
Yep.
Thank you.
Gary, you there? I don't see him yet. Oh,
Yes, I am here.
Oh,
Greg.
there you go, Gary. Hi. Good evening. How are you?
Well, I'm good.
There you
I'm
go.
good.
Thank you for joining while you're on your vacation.
Oh, it was my pleasure. I missed you last week. One last meeting, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. Gary, do you want to just give us a brief update on some of your comments back to the board? What your thoughts are, and so we can give Rick some direction?
I mean, Rick is correct. Basically, there is quite a bit here for the board to review that we did defer back to the board relative, I mean, I think there's 10 or 11 waivers that are being requested that would go back to the board for their consideration. We do have some stormwater comments. Perhaps the most significant one is the fact that when they ran the 100-year storm based on the new rainfall amounts, we had a little bit of a bump up on what was coming out of the existing basin onto the Pantaway MS4. So he's gonna have to address that. And I did have a little bit of a laundry list associated with some minor changes, but, you know, if the board goes through the letter, you'll see there's quite a bit there for the board to absorb in terms of the decisions that have to be made relative to the waivers that are being requested. The only other thing I will indicate that they indicated their streetlights, but there's a huge gap in the streetlights that I believe they're going to pass on to the individual homeowners associated with some LED lighting, some minor LED lighting, but it's not really shown. So, you know, I think there's like a 400 or 500 foot gap in the road, in the main roadway going, that there's just no lighting at all. I believe he indicated to me that they are gonna put some, like 6 foot, you know, street lights, or 6 foot lights, just local that were controlled by the homeowners themselves. But I thought that was something that the board should consider. And then the other consideration, you know, do we really wanna have any lighting on the proposed walkway? I mean, it would be solar or low voltage, but I thought that was maybe a consideration that should be made by the board relative to that proposed walkway.
Okay.
Other than that, I'll hand everything back to the chair.
Okay, thank you, Gary. I guess I'll go to the board before I go to the audience. Mark, I guess I'll start with you first, if you want.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I guess through you to Gary, I had a question in regards to the waiver that addresses the guest parking, when the guests park, and they overhang the sidewalk. So I guess I have a concern with that, as far as you're asking for a waiver for setbacks, but we're still over we don't have enough room, so we're parking over the parking lot, over the sidewalk, I'm sorry. That would be one of my concerns. And the other one is, I wasn't quite clear on how to interpret it. It's under the senior village, it was SV 16, about the open space, and how there's some proposed substantial grading of the post-development landscape. Gary, could you go over that? I'm not quite clear on how to interpret that.
I'm sorry, I didn't quite understand.
Gary, on SV 16, in the review, the peer review, they said the project proposes substantial grading and the post-development landscape will differ significantly from natural site. Is that something where they're going into open space? I guess I need clarification on that. I just had a question.
Did he hear?
Is it-
Did we lose it?
Did you hear me, Gary?
Yes, it did.
Gary, I think he's just looking for you.
That's part of the requirement under the senior village requirements. And I believe I deferred it off to the board.
So does that mean he's encroaching on the open space? I'm sorry.
No, it refers to the site its entirety in terms of the fact that, you know, you're supposed to try and blend as best you can with the existing grades to minimize the overall impacts on the existing vegetation. But obviously, within the limits of the development area, there's gonna be some significant grading, and it's not gonna be allowed to be maintained in its current natural state, so.
I guess that answers my question there. Okay, all right, thank you.
Now, he's right, the open space, except for the walkway, the open space will be maintained in its current, but the development area itself, yeah, none of the existing landscaping or the existing natural vegetation will be maintained.
Okay, thank you. I'm all set. Thank you.
Okay. Chris?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First off, appreciate the consideration for the sidewalk. I think, to me, that seems like a relatively amenable situation to kind of connect the dots on where we are on the street, and understanding we can't connect on your side, but making a passageway or a pass-through over that way. With the crosswalk, I would agree with Gary in the sense that we should have something conditionally about maintaining the light to kind of make sure that those are illuminated in perpetuity, depending on if they're on town-owned property or if they're going to be on the project property, if it's a homeowners association cost or something like that. The only other thing I think, and I was trying to go through all my notes, I don't know if I've seen a statement of critical need for this project.
If I may?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, we did this with the board a couple of years ago when we started this process. We came out and did the report, came to the board, basically had a discussion and a vote on that. So
Okay.
that we did do that already.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah,
Was that
I
maybe before my time, possibly?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Yes.
It might have been, yes, I do have it on record.
Okay.
I might have included it in the last packet, but yeah, there was a report that was provided.
Oh, super.
Sorry about that.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I'll take that up then. Thank you very much.
Oh, was that when Gino came in?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, exactly.
All good then, Chris?
Those are all of my concerns, yes.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Jay?
I want to echo Chris. I think the sidewalk solution you guys came up with was a nice creative compromise. I think that actually adds more value than just extending the sidewalk all the way down to CVS on your side. Just trying to flip through some of these, defer to us, but a lot of them are like really minor issues, like things on approving A&Rs for drainage easement access. I mean, that's a pretty minor one. I think the biggest one is probably the open space, and I think that given the site and the location of it, that's pretty good. I would take some paths around my house if I had them, even if it was to go for a 5-minute walk. With respect to the lighting, I don't necessarily think the path lighting is needed, but a 400-foot gap in the street lighting doesn't leave me like too warm and fuzzy. I usually like try to keep to 150 max. So.
Yeah, so if I may, Mr. Chairman, I mean, our intent is what Gary said, it's to fill in those areas with lighting on the ends of the driveways, post-mounted lighting on the ends of the driveways, to provide some lighting along the roadway. So we,
Split the difference and give me one.
But you said those are gonna be operated by the
Like
homeowners
200
themselves?
something
Yeah.
between streetlights.
yeah, no, that's fine.
Yeah, add like one in that
We're
gap.
trying to, we're trying to focus on the cul-de-sac and the intersection of the two roadways and then the
No, yeah, I
site
don't wanna make it
intersection.
like little
Correct.
road in there, but 400 is awful long for
Yeah.
distance between two.
Yeah, we could,
You
yeah,
know,
we
to
can
like
add a couple,
125 like it's a city street or anything.
we can add a couple more lights.
It's like one more.
If I may?
Sure.
Where we had I'll say the upper road that we got rid of, kind of the upper dead end road, I mean, that's where a lot of the gap is. Essentially, we were gonna have one there anyways, when the other road was there, so, it's a natural spot.
I think that would alleviate any security concerns with the
Okay.
path too, right? Kind of one light kills all the other discussion in my mind. That's it. That's all I have for you guys.
All right, good. Beth?
Yeah, could you guys, I'm sure you're probably looking for some guidance on the waivers that you're requesting, so I guess could you just elaborate on the waiver for not requiring street tree plantings along Panther Way and not requiring street tree plantings
Tree
at
plantings.
20-foot intervals? So I'm just curious what the reasoning is for that request. We do have a lot of plantings, especially on the side with the abutting condo building, but just a little bit more info on why that's needed.
Yes, so along Panther Way, there's the existing open detention basin, so we prefer not to have any trees on that embankment of the existing basin. And as far as the 20-foot interval goes, for the main driveway, if you will, into the site, you know, with all the driveways that are located there, we tried to maintain, you know, a little bit of a larger gap between the trees, and then obviously you've got this small area between the two driveways on the duplex units. It really wouldn't support a tree. So you're gonna have gaps with the driveways being, you know, roughly 40 to 42 feet from edge to edge. So, but we do think that, you know, we've provided a pretty good disbursement of trees for the driveway. If the board had any, you know, recommendation of some other places they'd like to see some additional trees, we'd be, you know, certainly more than willing to listen.
Well, I think anywhere you can find a place to put more trees is always a good thing, and I'll speak for Jen on that one. So-
Yeah, and we, you know, we do have quite an extensive list of screen trees.
You do.
You know, so I just want to point that out. It's really fitting them. You know, 20-foot spacing is it's pretty tight when they start to mature, and then the canopies start to overlap, and it can be problematic,
Just want
so.
to make sure I understand the rationale.
Yeah,
behind
yep.
it, so.
They're gonna grow into each other in a couple of years.
But ditto on the comments that we already said, so moving along in the right direction.
Thank you.
Good? Okay, yeah.
Through the chair, just clarification, the DPW didn't want a sidewalk in front, on your side of the street, connecting Highwood south towards or in front of the bus depot to CVS. That direction came from DPW.
Correct.
And is that due to just the drainage and or requirement of more extensive work to the street, or, you know, can you provide just a quick summary?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you've had an opportunity to read Mike Maglio's letter.
I did, but did I miss that exact description?
Yeah, so basically, it's exactly what you're saying. They were concerned about the flatness of the existing roadway and potential issues with stormwater if we provided a curb and gutter system along the entirety of that stretch of the roadway. There is some slope to the road from Highwood down to about our site entrance, and then it flattens out a little bit and becomes a much lesser slope in the roadway. So that was one of their concerns. They felt it more appropriate to basically put a flashing crosswalk for traffic deterrent and speeding.
Yeah, I saw that, I didn't see, I see what the recommendation is, I read that, but I didn't see the reasoning behind it. But I guess if it's coming from DPW, okay. I guess I'm still concerned that people are just gonna walk on that side of the street even without the sidewalk in order to like go to CVS and go to 3, and people coming from Highwood, like they're gonna cross over, and then they're gonna cross over again, I find hard to believe. So I am still concerned a bit about just the pedestrian safety, but, if this direction is coming from the DPW, then, I am on board with the DPW, recommends. And I guess a clarification through the chair to maybe Amy, in terms of the bylaw requirement to locate 15-inch diameter breast height existing trees. Is that, are we, is the intent through that bylaw to ask the applicant to locate all of the existing trees on the site, or those to remain, or those that are to be taken down, or what is, specifically, I mean, I read the quote from, that's in Dana's report, but the intent behind that bylaw. I don't disagree that it would be nice to understand what is in the massive area that is being clear cut, what we are losing from a mature tree standpoint. And if we can replace that either on this site or back in the town somewhere else, because we are eliminating, or the proposal is to deviate so far from the natural vegetative state of the site.
Yeah, through the chair, thanks, Jen. That was actually, I think, a comment that Gary had brought
Yes.
up, but I think it's part of one of our bylaws, it's listed in the bylaw, and that's where he's pulling it from.
Yeah, I don't have the bylaw up in front of me, so I didn't know if it was like more detail. Is the intent to, are we asking the applicant to identify all of them on the entire site existing?
You're asking the applicant to identify trees of a certain diameter,
Right.
not all the trees on the site,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
ones that are a certain size. So they're asking for that waiver, so
So that they don't have to do
they
that,
have
right?
to mark all the trees inside the area that is the development area.
Yeah, I guess, I personally, don't, agree, or I don't, I am not inclined to grant that waiver, just personally, because we are clear cutting so much, and I think otherwise we don't have an understanding of the habitat and trees and everything that is being lost that could potentially be replaced on this site or elsewhere in the town. And so I'm just wondering what could potentially be a compromise, or a suggestion or an idea, to meet the spirit of that bylaw without potentially identifying every single tree over 15-inch diameter. Particularly, I'm not worried about the area of the site we're not touching, or that is to remain in natural vegetative state, but really just where we're clear cutting, what are we losing?
Could we quantify it instead of mapping it, so we still have the
Sure.
data, but not in a,
Yeah,
you know, we don't have to go and survey it, you're just kind of sending someone out to quantify it, and then you could compare that to what's being put back.
yeah, I'm open to ideas and suggestions, I just.
Yeah, I think that.
Is that something you could
I
do?
think that brings us there without having to do the level of.
Do an estimate of,
So do an estimate of how many trees over 15-inch
yeah.
are within the area of the development portion of the site?
And then correlate that back to what's going on the site, and then we'll figure out the difference.
Yeah.
And then if we don't plant them on that site, maybe they go elsewhere in town. Like we-
Exactly.
We've done that in the past with other projects, so
Yeah.
I think that'd be only fair.
I
Yeah.
also wonder if there's perhaps other way to create habitat, which is a lot of the intent of trees.
Yeah, I was gonna say, my other comment was through the landscaping, are there certain mixes or seeds or whatnot that is intentionally trying to restore ecology and natural habitat versus being maybe what you would,
Sure.
artificial
You
or.
could, are you guys doing a rain garden on site or anything like that, fire retention, or like?
No, not with the slopes and the presence of the ledge.
So you can do like a lot of like, you could do focus on like native perennials instead of like, you know, like summer sweets and all that happy stuff that grows in like big
Yeah.
bushes.
Yeah,
That are still 5 feet tall and provide screening and have
Mhm.
flowers, but are good for like butterflies and pollinators, so.
Yeah.
Native perennials.
yeah, that's why we, have, apparently you're an ecology expert as well.
I have an awesome butterfly garden.
There you go, okay, that's cool. I mean, otherwise, I think I appreciate the development and the conversations that you've had with the town and the DPW, and a lot of the adjustments that you've made to address or respond to our comments. I think for me, that would just be the last piece, is just trying to make a concerted effort to restore or protect the ecology of the site in whatever way possible.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, can I just
Sure.
comment on that? In looking at the review of your landscaping plan here, if I do the quick math, it sounds like you've got plantings that include 193 eastern red cedars, 25 American elms, 25 sugar maples, 25 white angel crab plantings, and 25 white birch. So offsetting that, knowing what you
Put on
are
there.
potentially taking down would be helpful, but you are putting in a large number of trees as well.
Yeah.
But no.
Yeah, and that's appreciated, but I have like no
Oh, yeah, yeah.
comparison.
No, I
Sure.
agree.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
100%. Mhm.
Absolutely. Okay.
That's great.
And then, you good?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. I concur with the rest of the board about all the other comments. The sidewalk, thank you. Just give it a safer place for people to walk. I wish DPW did lean on going down the front of the site towards CVS. That one to me is, that's still kind of a sticking point to me, but the trees, I think we kind of hashed that one out. That was on my radar. I did have a question. You have retaining walls 1 through 5. I couldn't find any details. Is there any details in your drawings?
We, Mr. Chairman, if I?
Sure.
We actually, they weren't submitted with that, but we do have engineered stamped drawings, so
Okay.
we'll have that.
Can we get that in the next?
Absolutely.
They're gonna go in with the next
Yep.
round of
I was
revisions.
looking for heights, elevations, I couldn't
We
find
had
it, so I
Yep.
wasn't
full
sure.
set just on.
Okay, good, thank you. And then going back to Mike's comments about that, I did have one question, I brought it up in the past. The amount of gravel that's gonna come out of there, about possibly, I would like to see maybe some bond money set aside to reconstruct or just scarify the road and repave it, because you're gonna take quite a bit of gravel out, and that road's gonna get beat. It's gonna get beat down pretty good. It's pretty bad as it is, as we speak, so I'd like to see if Mike can put some kind of number of beta just off to the side for the amount of X number of feet for pulling in and out of the traffic there for the trailers. It's gonna be quite a bit of traffic out of there, so I'd like to see something set aside for that, for the future.
Could we just get some information on what the PCI on that road is before we go and do that?
Yeah, yeah. I want Mike and Gary to look into it, yes, but, yeah, we just wanna make sure we protect the town at least for
Yeah,
its residents.
I think it's informative as to how far the road is gone
Yep,
as well. So it's-
okay.
I don't have offhand knowledge on that, but I think it's kind of,
It's,
it's showing some alligator.
It's, yeah,
it is.
it is.
We did,
And I
we
think once you get on it, it's gonna come apart real quick.
did have an extensive discussion all about that.
Okay.
With the director
Alright.
and Mike, so.
Okay, good, thank you. But,
When you're done, I have one more thing that I forgot.
no, that was it, I think, that was all I had. Everybody else touched upon my last comment, but go ahead.
Okay, sorry. Through the chair, question. We haven't talked much about the path through the open space, and it obviously, the assumption is that this path is sort of naturally occurring and maintaining the, we're not doing a bunch of earthwork to create this path in open spaces to be preserved. However, I noticed in Beta's comments that the grades vary between 5 to 15+%. And I'm just wondering what amount of that recreational path basically starts to get steep. If this is intended to be a sort of walking path that's easily navigable by an aging population, ideally, we wouldn't get very steep. So I also see that the path proposed, unless I'm doesn't follow the contours of the site, so you are going sort of up and down hills. And I'm just wondering how much navigation, exploration or design of this path has really gone into responding to the natural contours of the site. Because right now it just looks like it was sort of overlaid on a site plan, but is not actually following any sort of naturally occurring contours. So I guess it's a question through the chair to you, Rich.
Yeah, so we did look at the path slopes, and we tried to maximize the path slopes at 8%, so that they would be, walkable. We did want to provide connectivity starting at the Route 140 West Central Street portion of the site, so that there would be pathway access to the existing sidewalk street system on 140. Then we came up and we went behind the existing retaining wall and development area of the building that was constructed about 5 or 6 years ago. And then we tried to traverse down along the boundary with the businesses at front on 140 through the open space. And then we, from that point, we provided some connectivity to the commercial space. And then we continued to the west and into the open space portion around the wetland system. And again, provided connectivity to the cul-de-sac sidewalk system. So that was, the main thing was to get people out to 140 and out into the back portion of the site, into the wetland system area and the wooded area. So that's what we were trying to accomplish, is to provide some access into the open space areas.
Yeah, I guess my question specifically is about the, I guess, the wetland area of the site, not so much, obviously, the connection down to 148 is gonna be steeper, because you live, right, and people can choose a flatter path to the north if they want to, but I guess, I mean, specifically sort of the recreation path through the wetland area, what informed the design of the orientation of that path? Because it's not, like I said, following the contours of that area.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we were trying to stay out of the wetland jurisdictional area, and the
Yeah.
intent is to kind of meander that path through the existing trees so that we're not creating, you know, a situation where we have to cut down trees to create the pathway, so.
Right. So ultimately, it might end up being, I'm guessing, oriented slightly
Slightly
differently once you
different,
go in there,
yeah.
because right now it's just like straight line, straight line.
Correct.
Okay.
You know, and it,
That's- yeah,
I believe
that's
there's a note on the drawing sheet that indicates that the path will meander. We did have a site walk with Bricolai from Conservation
Okay.
and kind of looked at that and staked out some areas and actually physically walked it. So yes, it will meander. That's the intent, is to have
Okay.
some meandering.
Perfect.
And as I said, there is a note to that effect on the site grading plan, I believe it is.
Okay, I didn't,
We tried to take a little more of a natural path, like we literally staked it out and walked
Yeah.
it, and then like, all right, well, there's a big tree here,
oh,
go this way,
now
so
I
it's a
see the
little.
note.
It's,
Proposed trail location shown approximate final location to
Yeah.
meander through the existing
We're-
trees, minimize tree removal. Thank you. That's all.
I wish it was a railroad,
Yeah.
like a rail trail would be nice and flat and
Yeah.
long.
No, that helps. Thank you.
There's not much flat out
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Okay.
Um,
Okay, I think you got enough info. I'll go to the audience. If anybody in the audience has any questions or comments, can approach the mic. This will get continued, so it's not the end of this meeting, but I think you got enough information in front, and then Gary will be back, obviously, and Mike will be back, so we should be able to get pretty close on the next one, okay?
Yeah.
So I make a motion to continue Panther Way, the senior village, till August 25th. Do I hear a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I just want to make a note to anybody in the audience that's sitting here, for 380 King Street will be continued. If you're here for King Street, it's going to be continued till August 11th. So,
Yes.
yeah, so just make a motion to continue 380 King Street to August 11th. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Just in case anybody was here from the crowd. Thank you. Yeah, next item of business would be a continuation for 60 Earls Way, site plan application. And if I could, saw you just walk in. Good evening,
Good
Mr.
evening.
Canetta. Could you,
While Rick's setting up, Richard Cornetta, the attorney for the applicant, and of course Rick Goudreau of United Engineering, our consulting engineer.
never seen him before. If I could go to Amy for a quick preview first before I go to the applicants?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So they've requested 4 waivers, which are listed here in the memo. The planning board had requested a letter from fire, which we have received the letter, which is in the packets as well. Yeah, requested a traffic assessment letter, which the applicant has provided that as well. And then any of the retaining wall designs had been requested prior. They wanted to do it prior to pre-construction, which is typical of a lot of the site plans that they presented at pre-construction.
Okay. Before I go to Gary, and I know Mike's on vacation, Rich, if you want to give us a brief overview of where you guys, from where you were to where you are now? Or Rick?
I might defer to Rick on that.
Okay. It's all yours.
All right, all mine again, huh? Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So, we had met with the board previously, had an opportunity to go through the Beta comment letters, the town planner's letter, we just got the town engineer's letter. We had met with the fire department prior to the hearing. With the plan set, they requested one additional fire hydrant, which we've now included in the revised plan set. We did get the town engineer's letter. We have engaged a structural engineer to complete the wall design. They're still working on it. Same company that did the Panther Way one, so, but they, we have worked with them, gone over the specifics of the walls. It's gonna be a big block, ready block, large block wall system. Went over the spacing and whatnot. We did have an opportunity to address the beta comments. They've come back with a series of additional responses. I think we're down to a handful of issues, again deferring to the board on the waivers. Couple of things deferred to the DPW, with respect to TSS removal and permit applications. I think those are workable. We did also respond to some comments that the board had given us. And as Amy had said, we did have a traffic assessment done by Tetra Tech of the area and the site, and that was submitted to you. And then lastly, Mike Maglio had requested some input on the easement for the Simons property located to the south, I believe it is, of us, and I would defer that to Attorney Cornetta. I know he's been working with them and could better answer that question, but I think we've addressed most of the comments, with the exception of one, which I'd like to talk about. It's, kind of come about at the end here. We did have an opportunity to talk to Gary. He was gracious enough to chat with us Friday afternoon just to get some clarification, and that's with respect to the existing catch basins located out on the site of 60 Earls Way currently, and there's 4 of them. We interpreted his comment to be the installation of some type of water quality unit, i.e. a storm scepter or something to that effect. He put us onto these catch basin inserts. Matt Crowley was able to get me the information today. Gary was on his way out the door, heading on vacation, which I understand. So we'd be more than amenable to have the board include that we'll put those in the final plan set, and that, the catch basin inserts that were discussed, the applicant is willing to put in. And that's, in my mind, really the most outstanding issue that's left. And again, I can defer to Attorney Cornetta regarding the Simons property. Thank you.
Thank you. Rich, if you want.
Yo, you nigger fat as shit, fuck niggers.
All set now, Chris? Yep. Amy, you good?
I'm good.
Okay. Apologize again, everybody.
Okay.
As I
No, I
cut you
mean,
off.
okay. No, my only comment, and it's tough because Mike's not here, was that Mike did express how they had looked at the intersection of Earl's, Chestnut, Pleasant years ago, and concepts were assessed, including a traffic signal roundabout. But right now, the cost for that is not within anything the town has budgeted. So, you know, I think it's a bigger issue, but any increase in traffic is a bit of a concern with sort of how dangerous that intersection already is. And I had a hard time finding the summary of the traffic assessment. Through the chair, can anyone point me to where that is? It says it was provided, but
I think it was provided in the.
It was in the beta.
last packet.
Yeah, I think so.
What page was it on?
I can't remember. Rick, do you happen to have some general numbers off the top of your head for the amount of traffic that was gonna generate? I can't remember off the top of my head. I know there's gonna be a limitation of number of trailers in and out, taking larger deliveries, but regular vehicle traffic. Maybe it'll help Jen.
I don't have it with me, the Tetra Tech report, but my recollection is they were in the vicinity of 130 trips a day.
Okay. I couldn't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, at least it's not, the Tetra Tech report is not in the online packet. Maybe somebody has it physically. Anyway, I just want to confirm, like, any, you know, is it significant traffic added? I guess that's my question.
Jen,
Yeah.
if you don't mind, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
Sure.
I think at the last meeting that, the applicant is here, right? Didn't they indicate that they're not anticipating increasing?
Yeah, and in fact, it was gonna be less, but then
Yeah.
I just didn't know if the traffic, like, assessment said anything differently.
Well, I guess in the meantime, we can track that.
Okay.
If need be.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, but yes, the applicant did say that in the use
Great, thank you.
anticipated,
Just hold on
at
a
least
second.
their operation would be a decrease in traffic, so that's a very positive thing. And so, I guess in some ways it will help with the dangerous intersection, I guess I would just like to see the town eventually address that intersection, but.
Yeah.
That's
That one's been on the books for a
neither-
long
Yeah,
time,
yeah, the bigger
unfortunately. Yep.
issue, but otherwise I have no comments. It looks like
Okay.
much of Beta's comments were addressed, so that's great.
Okay. Beth?
I don't have any additional comments. They've addressed the majority of things that needed to be addressed, and
Okay.
they
Jay?
provided-
Oh, sorry.
Just want to make sure we get these wall designs
Yep.
looked at before, by an engineer before this is approved. That's
Yep.
all.
Oh, just, actually, I'm looking at Amy's letter too, just knowing that the planning board will not vote unless all fees are paid, and it appears that the Beta fee is still needing to be paid, so just keeping that in mind.
Did I end up receiving that? I think I received it after I wrote this letter. I think we were all set with the
We're all
beta
set with
fee.
that?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Good
Yep.
news. There you go.
Just through the chair, I do have Gary on the line,
Hmm.
that I can put him on speaker. Do you-
Perfect,
do you want- Okay.
Hopefully we can hear him.
Yes, so Gary, we have you on speakerphone if you want to just address any of your outstanding issues for 60 Earl's Way.
I'm sorry, I'm so shocked by what I was Yeah, as I stated, perhaps the most outstanding issue was the fact that I thought that we could have the opportunity to be able to bring the entire site in compliance with the standards. And that was one of the reasons why the comment, I believe Rick addressed it, relative to the fact that we'd really like to see something done to the catch basins. And it's not unusual. It's something that we've done also in some other sites where there've been site modifications or site revisions, and we've asked them to place some catch basin inserts in it to bring it into compliance in terms of the pre-treatment required for the basin that's currently serving the entirety of the subdivision. Other than that, I really don't have an awful lot. They pretty much have addressed pretty much all of our comments. So I'll leave it at that, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Gary. We'll continue on to Chris. Questions, comments? Jay, yeah, we went to Gary first, yeah.
Thank you, Mr.
Jay's all
Chairman.
set, I believe, right?
I think overall, no real issues. My only, I guess, question or concern or thought to share is just, given the adjacency of the residential property to the northwest of the project, and noticing that there's an overhead door that goes into the building, so there's potentially a van or a truck pulling in and out. I know you're putting in some plantings and there's some vegetation there, but just any consideration potentially for that abutter, whether it be some type of privacy fence or something like that to mitigate, because I think also the height disparity, the truck pulling out, those headlights might be shooting into a second-story window or a window in the back of the building. But other than that, those are my only concerns.
Okay, good, thanks, Chris. Mark? Comments,
I have no
questions?
comments.
Oh, okay. I only had a quick question. Cut and fills, Rick, substantial amount in the back corner on the Simon side, or cut fills on the gravel?
So there is a cut on the Simon side of the site, if you will, and behind the 60 Earls Way building as well. And there's a substantial fill on the other side where the retaining walls will be. So we did do a cut and fill analysis, and we're slightly under 1,000 cubic yards for the cuts to the fills for the entirety of the site. Those are listed on the site plan.
I saw it, I just want to
Yeah.
make sure that we were
Yep.
for that, yep. And then the retaining walls was obviously part of it, and to Chris's point about the overhead door, that was a good point as well. I'll go to the audience, if anyone in the audience has any questions or comments. Obviously, this is gonna get continued, we got a few more things to clean up, but if you just wanna approach the mic and give your name and address, please.
Hi, my name's Kirk Simon. I'm the owner at Simon's Furniture, Bay of Butter, at 80 Earls Way. I just wanted to let you know that early on in the process that Leo apprised me of everything that would be going on, and I had no objections to it. It looks like it'll improve the property between my property and his. They're good neighbors, they're good business people, and that's why they want to expand their business, and I think we should do everything we can to accommodate them.
Thank you. Yep, just approach the mic, just name and address, please.
Good evening, Robert Vozella, 355 Union Street in Franklin here. I am the designated trustee for the property located at 687 Pleasant Street. And just to echo what Kurt said, but also and support the build-out of this project, I think we'd probably be the house that that garage door would be facing, and we don't see an issue with putting a privacy fence or anything like that. So, yeah, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. We'd go to Zoom, but no one's there, so that's easy. Okay. Yeah, exactly. So, make a motion to continue Earls Way, 80 Earls Way, to August 25th. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Last item of business, this is for 800 Chestnut Street. This is a site plan application. This is a continuation. So who got it? Gary?
come to you, I'll put you back in speaker. Does that make sense? Is that okay?
So you don't have Gary.
Yeah,
Right. Okay. Excellent. Okay. He's good, yeah, he'll speak when we want.
Oh.
Yeah, I hear him.
Oh,
Yes.
you know what? Yeah, I was just gonna say.
I was just telling him how we were moving on to 800 Chestnut
Okay,
when we get there.
so let's do this. If you could just introduce yourselves for the record, please, and then what I'm gonna do is, based on tonight's situation, I'm gonna go to Gary first, and then we'll get Gary offline if need be, and continue on, okay? So if you just wanna introduce yourselves, please.
Terrific. Ted Cannon, local counsel for the Adirondack Club. Peter O'Kane from Power Corporation, Bob Hendricks, and Rich Hendricks from the Adirondack Club.
Okay, good, thank you. Amy, if we could go to Gary first with his review comments, and then we can take care of Gary first.
Hi, Gary, I have you on speakerphone, and I'll put you into the microphone, and this is, you're gonna be the first one to speak for 800 Chestnut Street.
Okay. Admittedly, Mr. Chairman, I have to speak on this, but we did get a actual response to our comments this afternoon at 6 o'clock, 5 minutes to 6, from Parade. But what I will say is that they've pretty much addressed an awful lot of our issues relative to what we had, and I believe even what the board had. We still had a couple of issues relative to some of the treatment associated with the maintenance that was going to be done on the existing basin. We're recommending that the bottom of the hole be inspected prior to the placement of the tile, just to see specifically what's going on, because they've allowed it to really become almost a woodland. They kind of allowed it over the years to become overgrown. Other than that, most of the other changes that were made pretty much in response to some of the comments that were made by the board relative to sidewalk access. And I believe they have requested the waivers from each of the issues that were also raised relative to the placement of spaces beyond the limits of the 300 feet. But I will leave that and leave it to the board for the remainder of the comments.
Thank you, Gary. Gary, before you leave, is Dennis calling in? I just want to see on his assessment of the traffic.
I don't think he's going to.
Okay.
I think pretty much, I don't recall, he didn't seem to have, I believe that they had responded to pretty much all of them, all of the comments that he had, so everything was pretty much, they had responded, and he had no further comments relative to it.
Okay.
I believe if you look at his response,
Yeah. Yeah, I just didn't know if he was calling in, if he had any other comments in addition to, that's all.
I don't believe Matt had requested him to call in on this one.
Okay, all right, I do appreciate it. Before Gary hangs up, does the engineers have any comments to Gary before? Because we may lose him too, so, part of.
It sounded like Gary was saying that we had met all the requirements and addressed the comments that he's placed before us, so, is that correct, Gary?
That's correct.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Everybody go with Gary before we let him go? Gary, I think you're all set, thank you.
All right, thank you. Hopefully you'll have a less eventful remainder of the meeting.
Yeah, let's hope.
Thanks, Gary.
Thank you, Gary.
Thank you, Amy. All right.
Bye-bye.
Have a good vacation.
Have a good night.
Enjoy your vacation.
Have a good vacation.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do is, Amy, I know we were a little out of order, so if you could give us a brief upview, where we were to where we are now, please.
Sure, actually, Gary just kind of addressed some of my comments from the last meeting. We have the list of waivers, there's 4 waivers that's been requested to extend the crosswalks at the parking lot, which they've shown on the site plans. They've added the snow storage as well on the plans, and the board had wanted to see the entire parking area, just not the new parking area, and that's been reflected on the site plans.
Okay. And then we have the letter from Mike from DPW also. Did you guys get that letter as well? From
I'm sorry?
DPW, from Mike Maglio?
We got that.
You get that?
They,
Mr. Chairman, yeah, those comments were
The
addressed
comments
in
are-
the- I believe they duplicated what Gary had as well.
yeah, they
Okay.
did.
Okay, so you agree upon it, okay. Before I go to the audience, I'll go to the board. Does the board have any questions? Jen?
I just want to say thank you for addressing our comments, particularly around extending the striped pedestrian walkways through the parking lot and adding the bollards to the, I guess it's technically the east side of this site. Anyway, near the daycare. And using the more conservative stormwater calculations for Beta Mike's comments. So that's all. Thank you.
Beth?
I have no further comments. You've addressed all of the ones we asked for, so thank you.
Okay. Jay?
Echo them, thank you for addressing everything. I really like what you guys did with the striping in the parking lot. This is more of an engineering consideration. The bollards are placed smack in the middle of the spots, which would make sense if people drove responsibly. Sometimes it's a good design consideration to put two, right, so you can't split the spot. That's the only thing to think about. Do as you want, one is better than none. And I appreciate even putting one in, so just, that's the only thing I really have.
Okay. Chris?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, echo everyone's comments. The only other thing is just on the, showing the full plan now on that crosswalk that's extended on the current parking area. It seems like it's dead ending into an existing parking space. I'm assuming that parking space will not be a parking space. It'll be a hashed off area. Okay, that was the only, just want to make sure that was accurate. Thank you.
Okay. Mark?
I'm all set, thank you.
Okay, good. Anything else? I think you've addressed, I saw the fire department, truck turning, which works. Mike's letter, we're all set. It sounds like you're all set with Beta as well. The only thing I was a little reluctant to is the traffic study was only during the week, not during the weekend. I know there's a lot of volume in and out of there on the weekends. I was wishing we saw a little bit more information on the traffic. But I think you've addressed basically most of the board's concerns and Beta's, so.
Just to
Good
that,
with-
I mean, they've made it pretty clear that they're not anticipating additional, business or additional amounts of cars. This is to address operations and number of vehicles that are already coming in and out of the site.
Yeah, but it'll grow now that you have better access to, so that's always one leads to another as time goes, but that's all right. Make a motion
From
to.
the audience?
I'm sorry. Anyone in the audience have any comments? If you could just approach the mic, please, give your name and address. Thank you.
Hi, good evening. Michelle Kane, 17 Barron Road. I am the abutter, 900 Chestnut Street of Franklin Children's School, and I just wanted to come to the board and thank them personally for listening to all of our concerns and putting up the bollards and all of that, and thank you very much, because it'll be safe for all. So I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Good. Thank you. Anybody else? No? So make a motion to close 800 Chestnut Street site plan application. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Want to vote on the waivers?
Want to vote on the waivers?
Jen, do you want them?
Jen?
Can I have something, my computer died, sorry. Okay, I'd like to make a motion to grant the following waivers. 185-21.C6, waiver requested for 160 parking spaces that are greater than 300 feet from the building main entrance. Painted walkways and crosswalk signs have been added, which extend to the rear of the proposed parking lot expansion. Also 185-31.1.d, 4E, a waiver is requested for minor light spillage along the northern property line. 300-11 B to A, a waiver is requested for 42-inch cover requirement over the proposed drainage pipe. Class 5 reinforced concrete pipe is being provided. And lastly, 300-10.H1, a waiver is required for slope granite edging at the new emergency entrance, which is consistent with the slope granite edging at the existing main entrance from Chestnut Street. However, hold on, didn't they go back to providing vertical granite curving, so we actually don't need that waiver?
I think Mike did it.
Okay, so strike that through the list, sorry. So
Yep.
just those first three, make a motion to grant those waivers.
Along with, just to confirm, along with Mike's letter from July 22nd, 2025, in reference to that.
Yeah.
Okay, Just
yeah.
as part of the, so there's no confusion.
Correct.
okay?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
What's that?
There weren't any
No.
I don't have any
Okay,
special.
Other than just the regular pre-construction meeting, standard conditions, okay? Okay.
Make a motion to approve the site plan at
800 Chestnut.
800 Chestnut Street.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. You're all set, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Enjoy your night.
Yeah, you too.
Don't watch any Zoom videos either. Okay. Anybody else? No? Make a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.